Hello, my name is Alexander Drama. I'm going to be talking about immigration detention centers in Canada. My group's theme is human rights violations in Canada. An oppressive element of this system, which is immigration detention centers in Canada, are the lack of legal presence in them. Many of the immigrants are given no estimated time from when they are free to go, which gives them weeks upon weeks and pondering on when they can be set free. As such, they are left to fend for themselves because not only are they are there's no legal presence in them, they have no access to lawyers, which could help them or aid them from being set free. In regards to the health determinants in these facilities, due to the poor living conditions and isolation to society, it affects the immigrants in a psychological way, which can uh, which can negatively affect their mental health, especially children who are very vulnerable at a young age. How these social justice issues impact the immigrants' health, just like I said, due to the isolation, some immigrants who have very specific and chronic ailments may not be able to get the health care that they require, which gives them a poor chance of survival and can lead to death. And children may not be able to have the proper care and support that they need during their development, which can affect their growth.
Hello, my name is Jovita. I'll be talking about human rights, social justice, and how it relates to poverty and human rights. Everyone has the right to live in dignity. They have the right to participate fully in society. Poverty denies people these rights: the right to a safe work environment, to social security, to proper housing, to proper health services, clean water, as well as good and nutritious food. There is deep racism in every part of the world, especially towards those of racial minorities. Indigenous people have experienced situations that have led to poverty, like their lands being stripped, as well as their traditional livelihood, as well as their culture. They have also been put in reserves where there is serious lack of educational opportunities. All of these have been All of this means they have been excluded from resources, power, and opportunity to help improve and better their life. There are so many determinants of health, but the one I'm going to be focusing on today is income. Income is a big determinant of health. The level of income shapes the overall living condition. It also affects psychological functioning and influences health related behaviors, such as the quality of one's diet, like what you eat. It is really easy to find it. There's easy access to fast and cheap food, which is mostly junk and not good for the health and leads to so many diseases like obesity, diabetes, and all. It is very expensive in Canada or in the world in general to eat healthy and cook your meals and all. Um, Income also affects the extent of physical activity. Um, Someone with a sedentary lifestyle might be more prone to medical conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, as well as with low income, one might not be able to afford going to the gym or getting a gym membership or hiring a gym instructor, even if they want to improve their health. Due to poverty and low income, people are forced to work two jobs or double shift. After work, someone they are too tired to head to the kitchen to make something to eat, and so the nearest or easiest food to reach is fast and junk food, which also negatively impacts their health. Income also affects the quality of healthcare received. The lower your income status, the less healthcare you're able to receive. There's so much inequality. It's as though the poor get poorer and the rich gets richer with the rising inflation. Poverty can negatively impact people of all race, gender, or age group. People who live in poverty are more likely to get less and bad quality health services due to their socioeconomic status and their low income status. Children who live in poverty are more likely to have low birth weight and suffer from malnutrition growing up.
Hello everyone, my name is Kencia. The social justice related to my theme is human rights, specifically racism, slavery, and discrimination and immigration. Canada is known as a country of freedom and human rights. However, it is crucial to know and educate ourselves on the history of this country and how human rights have been violated in the past or still be an issue in the present. I'll be talking about residential schools, Blacks people slavery in Canada, and denial of Jewish to immigrate here in the past. All three groups or all three issues were characterized by oppressive practices and discrimination of these groups based on their race and religion. First, in nearly every province and territory in Canada, there were more than 100 Indian residential schools built. The Canadian government employed Catholic and Protestants to run schools to shield children from the influence of their families, communities, language, culture, and worldviews. Genocide occurs when kids are forcibly taken from their families to eradicate indigenous culture and identity. In addition, indentured service coexists with slavery of Black people for a long time in what is now Canada. Indentured servants entered into contracts promising to work for free for a predetermined period in exchange for transportation, housing, and food. Humans were treated as property and subjected to lifelong forced labor during slavery. Slavery was intergenerational since slaves' offspring also became a property. Finally, Jews had a strong desire to get away, even though it was becoming evident that Nazis wanted to exterminate the Jewish people. Few nations welcomed them. Many countries, including Canada, refused to accept Jews trying to escape the anti-Semitic persecution that would lead to the Holocaust. The issues enumerated above are related to social determinants such as education, income. Due to residential schools, Black slavery, and denying remigration to Jews, these groups did not have access to decent work conditions, education, adequate housing, potable water, and standard living. The social justice issue will impact the health of these groups, leading to poor health in most cases, because without access to education, it might become hard for a group to make the right decision. For example, how can you choose to buy biofood when you're not sure if you'll be able to pay for your rent at the end of the month? Also, with a low income, it's challenging to access healthcare and even afford care. For example, a person with a low income cannot afford diabetes medication if they are not covered. Finally, inadequate living standards can negatively impact an individual's health. Without access to potable water or proper housing, getting sick is easier, leading to poor health overall. Thank you. Hi, my name is christabel, and the theme I'm talking about today is human rights in Canada, non-Indigenous. And the social issues I'm talking about today is the right to privacy, the right to the job, and right to poverty. So the third picture is talking about MPI, how the MPI puts a CCTV camera on a lady, in a lady's house because they thought she was lying about being disabled. So right to privacy is very important because nobody is comfortable and happy to be watched and monitored every minute of the day. Everyone has the right to live their private life and go about their business without being watched. But in the picture, the MPI putting a camera in Lindsay's house violated her right to live her private life. So the second picture is talking about the right on the job, which is talking about the discriminatory act of Canada on black people by denying them the right to get a good job because of their skin color. People should be given the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, regardless of their skin color or where they are from. And the last picture is talking about the right to poverty. The people who don't have a lot of money shouldn't be denied of their right to some certain things like health, shelter, and food because they don't have money. That's why the Min Income of Manitoba has created a program to increase the annual income of people who don't have a lot, so they can be able to get access to healthcare services. They can be able to work and get more money to feed themselves, to provide their personal needs and also to provide for their families. And the social determinants of health, these issues are affecting our race and racism, employment and working condition, and healthy behaviors. For race and racism, some people are denied access to some certain things like health services and care because of the way they look or where they are coming from, which is not right. We should always be treated right regardless of who we are or where we are coming from. And for employment and working condition, in a workplace, everybody should always be treated equally and not denied access to some certain things because of their skin color or where they are coming from. And everybody should also be given the right to get any kind of job they want as far as they have the rightful qualifications for it. And healthy behaviors. We should treat people fairly and not treat people harshly because of what we believe. For Lizzie, putting a camera in her house is not a healthy behavior because it might affect her mental health, knowing the fact that people are always watching her. So these social issues are affecting the health outcomes of people who are less privileged, black people, and etc. because it's denying them of access to health services, access to live their private, the right to live their private life, and the access to have good jobs. Thank you.
The lack of human rights could affect a person's level of stress, coping mechanism, cultural safety, and personhood. For example, residential school survivors were taken away from their families. They did not have the right to freedom, the right to language and culture. The practices of residential school led to multi-generational trauma that still affects indigenous people till today. We can see that some indigenous people are still struggling with their identity, which can affect their personhood and coping mechanism. Um, in order to eradicate the issues enumerated above, healthcare providers can advocate for disparities among different populations to ensure everyone has access to healthcare. We could also create more opportunities to be available to everyone, irrespective of their race, background, and ethnicity. To advocate for equitable care, we can develop a community partnership with the underprivileged, addressing institutional racism. As a nurse, we should ensure to provide safe and equitable care and treat everybody the same. Thank you so much. This presentation has been presented by Kencia, christabel, jovita, and Alex.